Good evening, folks. It's Thursday, January 23rd, 2025, and we're at 6:32 p.m. Brian, can we get roll call, please?
Mr. DeMeglio. Here. Mr. Grippo. Here. Dr. Hopkins.
Here.
Ms. Inocencio. Mr. Jackson. Here. Ms. LaCourte.
Here.
Ms. Maris. Mr. Parker. Ms. Singh.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Excellent. So just for the record, Lori Maris will not be at the meeting tonight, and Mr. Parker will not be at Confidential. He will join us later. Brian, can you also read the Open Public Meetings Act, please?
In accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, Public Law 1975, Chapter 231, Sunshine Law, copies of the public meeting notice were sent to the Courier News, the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, the Franklin Reporter, Tap into Franklin Township Clerk, Manager, District Schools, Offices and Associations, PTO Presidents, and posted on the district website.
Thank you very much. Can I get a motion to move into confidential session? Moved by Bill, seconded by Dennis. All in favor? Thank you. So there is a motion to adjourn to confidential session for the purpose of discussing confidential matters, including special education settlement agreement and a student matter. Minutes of the confidential session will be made public when the reason for confidentiality no longer exists. We'll be back at 7:30. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It is still Thursday, Jan 23rd, 2025, and we're at 7:33. We just returned from confidential session for the purpose of discussing confidential matters, including special education settlement agreement and a student matter. Minutes of the confidential session will be made public when the reason for confidentiality no longer exists. Jimmy, can you lead us with the Pledge of Allegiance? And those of you, if you're able to, please stand and join us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Nick, can you read the mission statement, please?
Franklin Township Public Schools embraces its diversity, fosters excellent educational innovation, and empowers all students to achieve their highest potential.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda, please? Moved by Nancy. Can I get a second? Second by Bill. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And we will recognize our dear friend, Mr. Sammy Shaban, former Board of Education member, and also who served as our Vice President for the Board of Education last year. Sammy, I can see you hide behind your Harvard hat. So if you would like to please come up, we would like to present you with a plaque.
Yeah.
So, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Thanks so much for this. The president asked me to read it, so I'll say that presented to Sammy Shaban in recognition and gratitude for his continued leadership, dedication, commitment, and service to the children and staff of the Franklin Township Public Schools and the Franklin Township Board of Education as board member between January 2022 and December 2024, vice president of the Board of Education from 2024 to December, and Franklin Township Board of Education. So thank you so much, everybody.
Okay. Yeah, I know.
So I just want to say, Sammy, before you head out, it was wonderful 3 years with you. And I know that you will be a big figure in town working for the food bank and ensuring that our children and our families in Franklin don't go hungry, because Sammy has been a big advocate of making sure that our food bank thrives. And FISC was a great idea that Sammy brought to our Board of Education, so I really want to ensure that we really give him another round of applause for all the work that he has done for us.
Thanks so much. And the next FISC meeting, for anybody who's interested, FISC being the Food Insecurity and Safety, I know you're going to be there, Dr. Salmon, but Food Insecurity and Safety Coalition is next Wednesday at the Senior Center, and our mission statement is simple: to permanently end food insecurity in Franklin. Full stop. And I'd like to announce that as of this morning, I'm now on the food bank board. So, so they voted me on, so I'll be moving from this board to that board. So hopefully continuing the work in the food insecurity world. But thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you. We got news that our student representative will not be here because her mom's car broke down, so hopefully she can get that running up and about. And with that, we're moving on to Mary for a presentation.
Okay, so tonight's presentation is pretty easy for me, since all I have to do is introduce Dr. Daniel Logren, our Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction.
So we have a special recognition we want to do that we frankly tried to squeeze it in November around the election, and then December wasn't ideal, and this was the moment, and actually I think it's a perfect moment for this recognition. So Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "We shall overcome because the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice." Bruce Springsteen, my hero, recently added, "But that arc doesn't bend on its own." Tonight we would like to honor two of our district leaders for their outstanding work in helping that arc bend toward justice. Specifically, these two leaders have made extraordinary efforts to deliver civics education, a crucial component of a moral universe, to our students, one of whom will speak with us in just a moment. And that student is our Poet Laureate, which is an idea that was conceptualized last year. She's, on a number of occasions, delivered a poem for the district on important occasions such as this one. So Princess Dumbuya of Franklin Township is our Poet Laureate, and she has prepared an original poem for tonight's occasion. Princess?
Good evening, everyone. It is a
Good
pleasure.
evening.
It's a pleasure to be here. I wrote this poem called "The Unity in Our Community." It's a work in progress, the title. Here we go. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "There is power in unity and there is power in numbers." And when I take a look at this community, I see a number of people who have joined together to do powerful things. I see the vision of light produced in their words. I see the earth-quaking steps taken in their works. I see people take on responsibilities that weren't made by them, but saw it as their duty to make a change by them. And it all begins with one. One drop for waves to fill oceans, one step for a child to run, one word to fill one's heart with emotion, one sliver of light to become the sun. No matter how big or small, no impact is better than no impact at all. How you decide to shift the place of this collective is up to the respective perspective, and a certain perspective ensured your voice didn't go unheard. Engaging us in the civics of this democracy, reminding us the privilege of autonomy, choosing each policy which will run our country. Whether it be left or right, red or blue, black or white, the freedom of choice was emphasized to you, reminding us where we are today is beautiful, and where we will be tomorrow will be together.
They chose the right person to be our first poet laureate. That is wonderful, Princess. Thank you. Can we give another? Wow. And she didn't have a lot of time to prepare that. I think we told her like the day before winter break. So, wow. Well done. So tonight we honor Mr. Plummer, Mr. Darren Plummer, and Mr. Justin Miller. But before we get into that, I'm going to ask for help from a great friend of the district whom we've known for close to 5 years now, who has done amazing things for us with civics engagement education, and that is Doc Cunningham. Doc.
Thank you very much, Dan. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to you, Madam. All right. How's that? So I want to thank Dr. Loughran for the chance to have worked shoulder to shoulder with him over the past 5 years on some of these civic initiatives that he alluded to. And more importantly, I want to thank him for the chance to stand shoulder to shoulder with you tonight to honor these two individuals who have meant the world to me and my journey. And hopefully you'll get a sense for that in a moment. Let me tell you a little bit about myself before I tell you a little bit about them and what they've done and how it has impacted me. As some of you know, back in 2019 or so, I launched See America in Color. It's called SAIC for short. It's a social edge campaign and platform that brings a better picture of civic and social issues for a higher level of citizenship. And how I got on that journey was there were a series of national news stories that did not sit well with me. I was confused, frustrated, ticked off, fed up, any set of words that you're comfortable with. And I got to a point where there was 1 week I felt like I started to understand the issues, and then a week later I was back to feeling confused again. So I decided I was not going to wait on someone to explain this stuff to me. I was going to do some work to figure it out myself. So I embarked on what I call a deep dive in American history, the Black to America story, and hometown strong comebacks. And as you might imagine, that took me back to the 60s and the period of the civil rights movement and what was happening in the street in terms of civil disobedience. But because of my tech background, I also realized that something else was happening, and it was the arrival of the color TV set. And what it did for us at the time, it allowed us to see what was happening in the streets in a much more up close and personal way. I like to say it allowed us to see America in color. And that was the point at which the concept first came to be. And so I got excited with myself, but realized I needed to have some other ways to explain it. Folks who lived in the 60s or experienced the 60s might be able to connect with the concept readily, but if they didn't, like a younger audience, like my own kids, I had to figure out how would I explain it to them. And so as I mentioned, I have a technology background, and so I got to thinking about the difference between how a black and white TV works and how a color TV works. Just basic. A black and white TV projects a stream of white light, and it varies the intensity of that light such that you get different shades of black and white and gray. A color TV, on the other hand, instead of projecting a stream of white light, it projects 3 streams of colored light. And those 3 streams of colored light is what gives us the beautiful picture we see on a color TV set. And what dawned on me was, as I was doing this deep dive in American history, the Black to America story, and hometown strong comebacks, I was actually combining the three. And in the process, it gave me such a better picture of civic and social issues for a higher level of citizenship. So that, in a nutshell, is the basic behind See America in Color. It gives you a sense for my journey. And what we try to do is deliver content, programs, and events across campus, culture, corporate, and community, so that folks have a better handle of hot button issues by how they see America in color and not just in black and white. Now let me shift gears and speak to the two individuals we want to honor tonight. And first I'm going to start with Justin, because back in 2019, when Justin connected me with these fine individuals, connected me with the district, we sat down to discuss a civic engagement essay contest. And so after we met and you exchange your usual pleasantries, because we're meeting for the first time, never knew each other, we sat down and got to work and exchanged ideas about how we would do this contest. And as you might imagine, weeks went by and then a few months went by and the pieces came together. The students wrote their essays, and the long and short of it, we were able to give out over $5,000 in scholarship awards to the winners and runners-up. So Justin played a significant role in that, because we never met before, but in the process of meeting and connecting with this group, this organization, these leaders, I was able to develop See America in Color in a way that I wasn't sure without his help I would have been able to do that. And let me tell you a little bit more of what he has done. Justin, as many of you know, serves in the role of supervisor for social studies. So not only were we working on this essay contest, but he was doing a number of other things behind the scenes, including voter registration drives with students, including other opportunities in terms of civic engagement. And he was instrumental last spring, in helping us create and do a major student forum for the younger students who were not quite eligible to vote yet, but they were excited because of all that talk about elections, and they wanted to figure out how they can begin to get involved. So Justin has been such a friend, such a confidant, and there are two things I want to mention about Justin on a personal level. One was, I mentioned already actually, the fact that he connected me with the board and the district. But the second thing is this: one meeting we were having, and our understanding was Justin was going to be on vacation. So the rest of us got together and we started exchanging our ideas, and all of a sudden our screen kind of started getting fuzzy. You ever seen those cartoons, you see something's coming in the picture, and sure enough, while on vacation, Justin joined us for our meeting. Now, I appreciated that on a personal level, because I know vacation is important to us, but the fact that he took time away from his family to join us, I definitely appreciated it. And it said something to me about his approach to working with us as a team. And so, as we ask Justin to come forward, I'm going to ask you to help me give Justin a big round of applause. You guys have heard of NFL honors. Well, today we're giving Justin the Hometown Honors Award, Medal of Service Award. So let's give Justin a big hand. Give him a hand again. All right. Now so that's buddy number one. So let me tell you about buddy number two. All right? So I remember one of our initial meetings, after I had a chance to meet with Dr. Lochran, explain the concept of what we're trying to do. After Justin and I sat down and figured out how we're going to make this essay contest happen, I was introduced to Darren and a few of his colleagues in a meeting. And as I did here, I shared a similar introduction so that we'd be on the same page in terms of what we're trying to achieve. And before I gave the explanation, I could tell there was a sense that I had to avoid going too long, as I'm trying here as well. And after I did my little spiel, I said to Darren, so Darren, how did I do? Did I land the plane? And his response to me was, yes, you landed the plane. And that was such a reassuring feeling for me, because he felt like air traffic control. And I felt like I had this moment of bringing in something important to others in the district. And here it is, Darren says, yes, Doc, you landed the plane. So let me tell you a little bit about Darren in his role as supervisor of equity and inclusion. He also has been involved in a number of civic engagement initiatives, separate from the work he and I do with respect to See America in Color. He's involved with forums with students to help them get a sense for and developing their voice and a sense for their agency, the fact that they can make change in their lives and they can impact the broader community. But I think his baby these days is something he has created and coordinated over the past 2 years. It's the annual diversity night, and it brings together folks from across the community, even public officials from Trenton. And I have said to Darren, I says, when I grow up, I want to be able to have the type of connections he has demonstrated in pulling the people that participated in the diversity contest. Let me also say this. On a personal level, there was a meeting we were having. I like to share these little stories so you get a sense for what transpires. So in the meeting we were having a conversation, and we were going back and forth on some ideas, trying to figure out how we're going to make it work. How is it going to benefit the students? How is it going to get the support of parents? And while we were doing that, you could see the wheels turning in Darren's head. You could see him trying to figure out, how do we connect the dots? You could see him trying to figure out, how is it going to have value to students, not just the ones with whom he interacts, but the broader student population. And so, ladies and gentlemen, when I say to you, it's a pleasure for me to be here to join Dr. Lochran, to have the opportunity to acknowledge these two individuals for what they've done in my journey. As we invite Darren up, please also give Darren Plummer, Supervisor of Equity and Inclusion, a big hand.
I know we're greeting the Board of Ed right now, but I also want to acknowledge Princess's family is here, and Darren's family is also here. Justin was needed to, he couldn't bring the family tonight, but he knows they're here in spirit. So we have a lot of family members here for this moment too, and I want to thank them for just what a great job you've done with the folks who I get to work with, and we really appreciate your support. So thank you for being here tonight. Also, Princess, come on up. We want to give you a recognition for tonight's occasion as well. Yeah. And just to put the cherry on top of the cake, things like Friday night flights, if you participated in that, this is a sort of in the beginning of that really challenging 2020, 2021 school year. We were able to have a virtual town hall with Doc Cunningham being at the center of that, with Ms. Keon Peters and a student, Jada Bethia, who was a student leader. All of this was, certainly in part pushed by Doc Cunningham, who really helped us just do things even after that, beyond that were just civic engagement opportunities. So thank you, Doc. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Justin, for helping our kids see the power in being civically engaged. So important. Thank you all.
With that, we're on to our superintendent's report.
Thank you. First, I'd like to call upon Mr. Freed, who will present the FY fiscal year 2024 audit. Mr. Freed?
Evening, folks. I promise I will be quick. According to statute, we have to read off the findings from the annual financial report. So I will run through them. Comment number one, the district properly maintain the general ledger and reconcile the ledger monthly with other subsidiary records. Number two, that the treasurer's report and bank reconciliations be properly reconciled with the board secretary's records each month. Number three, that all tax wage payments be properly remitted in a timely fashion. Number four, that the payroll agency account be properly analyzed each month, matching to the bank reconciliation, and only funds owed to various payroll-related agencies be maintained on account. Number five, that the district improve controls over pension enrollments. And number six, that the district improve controls over the reconciliation of student activity bank accounts.
Well, thanks, Mr. Freed. I think what's important to mention, too, although, there are 6 comments there, it's a laborious process. It's a labor-intensive process, not only to prepare for the audit, but when the auditors are here. They take a whole conference room. They spend weeks in our conference room. They're constantly calling for paperwork. The challenge here, obviously, and I want to take a moment to thank Mr. Freed, Mr. Bonanno, and Ms. Hofala, who's our assistant business administrator. Of course, Mr. Freed's our business administrator, because along with the entire business office, I would consider it a successful audit. We've had lots of transition over the last couple of years. So finding records, doing the things that are necessary to supply all of the paperwork in order to satisfy an audit of this size can be challenging, especially when most of what was created wasn't created by you and or anyone who currently is in the business office. So nice job. Thank you guys for your hard work in supplying all of the necessary information. What I want the board to know before we open it up to questions from the board is I just want the board to know that there is a improvement plan or a corrective action plan on the agenda that addresses all 6 items that will be filed once approved by the board, as we do every year with the New Jersey Department of Education, and once approved by them, Mr. Freed will carry that out, and then next year at one point, that will be audited as well. So we're feeling as if we're in a very good spot. And again, I just wanted to thank those folks who were involved. Been lots of transition upstairs in that business office in recent years, but I think we're in a very good spot now. So I guess, Ms. Singh, we open it up to the board members who might have questions for Mr. Freed.
Yes, I'll start with my right. Jimmy, do you have any questions?
No questions at this time.
Erica? Bill?
Yeah, what's your timeline now with these 6 items, and how does it coincide with preparation for the budget? Because I know that we have 2 budget meetings coming up, the big one in March before it goes to the state. How are you going to synchronize all that?
I wouldn't say there's a connection between this fiscal year '24 audit and our prep work for the '26 budget. The only thing I think that is connected is the surplus. They give us the surplus numbers, and then we decide in our budget meetings how much we're going to use, if any, in the fiscal year '26 budget. As far as, these recommendations, all but one have already been fixed. These are things that I discovered myself and was aware of over the course of the year that have been repaired through personnel changes and just general repairs. And they've been fixed at this point. But the auditors, they look at the entire year, all the transaction history, and they discovered some of the things that I did that had already transpired and had to make a comment on them.
Good, okay, thanks. That's great, great clarification.
Nick?
So I'm the new kid on the block, so I don't really have any questions now, but as we get closer to the budget, I'll bother you then.
Nancy? Walter's the chair, so he'll come last.
I don't have any questions, though. Thank you.
No questions, thank you.
Dennis?
I guess the only question I have, any takeaways, any learning lessons, or anything that you want to share with us from the audit on those particular aspects?
Well, what I would say a couple things. I'd say that my goal is always to have no comments. It's very hard to do in a district this size. It's there's so many people involved in the operation, and it's hard to control everything that everyone does. So, I'd like to say there'll be zero comments in the future, but again, it's very hard to do with a $230 million budget. Yeah, that's all I'll say. These things, I discovered on my own, and like I said, they've since been repaired. So that makes me happy. I think we're in a better place now than we were when I got here a year ago.
Walter, anything else you'd like to add as the committee chair?
No, the meeting this week went very well, and the auditors did a great job explaining what was going on. Steve did a great job explaining what we're going to do to rectify the situation, so I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you. Back to you, Dr. Rivaldi.
All right, Steve, thank you. Appreciate your work. Number 2 on my list, the PD Day. Last Friday, the district hosted its annual Professional Development Day. The day was a huge success. I want to thank Dr. Logren and his PD team for organizing a productive, meaningful day of learning for staff, which was designed to address the individual needs within each building. I also want to thank our principals, supervisors, directors, and everybody else who helped to make that day go. Feedback was good. School Leader magazine. I have a copy up here if anybody's interested, and I'm going to circulate it, and I'll start with Jimmy, and we'll work our way down. School Leader magazine. I want to take an opportunity to report that today the winter 2025 edition of School Leader magazine was issued. In this year's edition, Franklin Township Public Schools Inventions Competition Program is highlighted in the section of the magazine titled Head of Class. I would like to thank the many who were involved in this wonderful program and thank them along with the Sadhani Foundation who supports this worthwhile STEM effort. So again, you've heard about this program time and time again, but it is really nice to gain recognition via this magazine and the award that we received from New Jersey School Boards for the program, and also nice to be able to share this work with other districts in hopes that they can too emulate some of it and get a similar kind of STEM initiative going in their buildings as well. So I'm going to, when I'm done, share this. I'll start down there with you, Jimmy, and you guys can pass it right along, as long as you promise to give it back to me. President's Day, just a quick reminder, and I'll end on that all schools, before our next board meeting, so I wanted to announce it, will be closed just as a reminder. All schools will be closed on February 17th in observance of President's Day. And that's it for us.
Thank you very much. And I would also remind all the board members that we should be getting this magazine on our addresses, and if you do not get this magazine, make sure you go to the school board's email and put in your home address, so you should be receiving them at your home addresses so we can all read them and share them widely that Franklin is being recognized. It was a full-page news that I was really proud of reading as well. So on to the board president's report. And we have some good news to share. This just came in from College Board. Congratulations. Your school, Franklin High School, has earned College Board's AP Computer Science Female Diversity Award for expanding young women's access to advanced placement computer science principles. Through these diversity awards, the AP program acknowledges 1,153 schools for their work towards improving female representation during the 23-24 school year. Your school is one of only 847 schools to achieve this accomplishment for AP CSP. Through your leadership in diversifying computer science education, you're preparing your female students for the in-demand jobs of the future and giving them the opportunity to help solve some of the society's most challenging problems. Congratulations to the administration, staff, and the students of Franklin High School. News from Franklin Visual Performing Arts. Two noteworthy stories from our music department. Over winter break, two of our guitar students, Haliga Jones and Seish Natula, auditioned and were selected for the New Jersey Music Educators Association Honors Guitar Ensemble. They performed against some of the best guitar students in New Jersey, and both students excelled and were accepted into the ensemble. The students selected for these prestigious ensemble will perform under the direction of Jason Martinez and will perform in several festivals, including the esteemed Long Island Guitar Festival, New Jersey City University, and Kean University's annual Guitar Fest. Two other Franklin High School students, Soren Decker and Isaiah Mosley Aviles, recently participated in the Central Jersey Music Educators Association Region Band audition. In this highly competitive event, they performed against some of the best musicians in the Central New Jersey area. These students also excelled and were accepted into the Region Band. As a result of these outstanding performances, they both qualified to audition for the New Jersey Music Educators Association All-State Band. In the second round audition, they competed against top students from the North, Central, and South regions of New Jersey. Students selected for this prestigious band will perform under the direction of faculty from leading university band programs. We are thrilled to share that Soren and Isaiah have been accepted into the All-State Band. These acceptances represent a tremendous honor for our music students and a proud moment for our district. Congratulations to them on their achievements. Middle school news. On January 9th, Franklin Middle School hosted an open house curriculum transition night and welcomed 200 plus students and families in grades 3 to 8. The event provided an opportunity for all to learn about the amazing curriculum and programming available for students and families at both our middle school campuses. Supervisor of School Counseling, Keon Peters, our FMS principals, Alan and Solomon, and their staff should be commended for their hard work in producing this successful event. The middle school musical this year will be Shrek Jr. Performances will be held at the Samson G. Smith campus on February 14th through 16th and 21st to 23rd. Some alumni news. Franklin High School alumna Monique Tawia is currently a first-year doctoral student at Fairleigh Dickinson University, focusing on understanding the lived experience of Black students in meteorology undergraduate program. She is also an adjunct professor at Montclair State University and Rutgers University, teaching meteorology-related courses. She has previously earned an Emmy nomination for her broadcast show, Mo on the Go, featuring the journey of women in STEM fields. She is passionate about advocating for marginalized students in STEM fields, especially meteorology. You can check her work out on TEDx Greensboro and the Weather Channel show Prime Suspect Earth. Ms. Tawia will be sharing her love of meteorology with the students of Connerly Road School at a special weather assembly. It is wonderful to see our former students share their vocations with our young warriors. Finally, our friend, Dr. Daniel Logren, our Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, and arguably the biggest Bruce Springsteen fan in Franklin, recently had a scholarly peer review essay, Dialogic Praxis, Radical Pedagogy for a Runaway American Dream, published in BOSS, the biannual online journal of Springsteen studies. This article explores ways in which we can engage in civil discourse in order to celebrate American values. I had the opportunity to read that article right on the night of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Congratulations, Dr. Logren. It was amazing. And now we're on to comments from the public, 5 minutes per speaker, agenda items only. Can I get a motion to open? Moved by Dennis.
Second.
Seconded by Walter. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, comments from the public, 5 minutes per speaker, agenda items only is now open. Anybody from the public, please state your name, address, and you can address the board. Yes, it has to be items on the agenda.
Seeing no one coming forward, Madam President, I move to close the public session.
Motion to close by Bill. Can I get a second?
Second.
Seconded by Jim.
Aye.
Okay, comments from the public is now closed. We are on to committee and liaison reports. Can we start with curriculum? Nancy?
The Curriculum Committee met on January 13th. Present was myself, Erica, Lori Ardeman, Dan Logren, John Ravalli, and Eric Siegel. We discussed a dual enrollment partnership with Seton Hall for CEP English 12, English Composition, new course proposals, Darkroom Photography 1 for students in grades 9 to 12 beginning September 2025, bilingual literacy, history of art and culture for students in grades 9 to 12 beginning in 2025. This course will expand bilingual education ESL electives offered for multilingual students. Bioethics for students in grades 11 to 12 beginning in September 2025. Course name changes include changing multimedia digital application 7 for students in grade 7 to exploring media and technology 7 beginning in September 2025, changing multimedia digital applications 8 for students in grades 8 to technology and career pathways to innovation 8 beginning September 2025, and the Fine Visual Performing Arts and Practical Arts Department application for the Best Communities for Music Education BCME National Award with the National Association of Music Merchants, NAM, which recognizes districts for their outstanding commitment to music education. The committee discussed the following item, January 23rd presentation to district leaders, which you saw tonight, for their work with student civics education, and the meeting concluded at 6:27 p.m.
Thank you. We'll move on to communications. Nick as chair.
The committee met at 7:17 p.m. via Zoom. Myself, Dennis Hopkins, Jimmy Parker, Ardaman Singh, Dr. Ravalli, Mary Clark were present. The committee welcomed new committee members, myself and Mr. Parker, reviewed the purpose of the committee to provide updates on upcoming events and communication platforms, such as the website, mobile app, and newsletters. The committee meets every other month unless additional meetings are required by district business. The committee discussed reminders to student families to download the district mobile app, Franklin TPS, and discussed upcoming training on the website feature called Live Feed, which allows district employees to post information and photos to the website and mobile app. Additional features and broader use at the school level is expected in the next few months. The committee discussed recent school liaison assignments given to the Board of Ed members, through which they will be invited to public events at their assigned school and will be able to report out to the full board on the happenings at the various schools. The committee also discussed the Township newsletter, which has been delayed in publication, and discussed plans for upcoming articles. The district has also begun to use the use of online newsletters for student families. These are sent via email and text message. The committee discussed presentations at upcoming Board of Education meetings and upcoming events such as the MLK Community Breakfast, winter concerts, the Franklin Middle School musical Shrek Jr., and a district fundraiser for Special Olympics, the Polar Plunge. Finally, the committee discussed the creation of a mechanism which might be accessible via the website for student families and other community members to ask questions and provide feedback. Administration will be reviewing how this request might be implemented and will report back to the committee with ideas at their next meeting. And this meeting ended at 8:04 p.m.
Thank you. Walter, can you do facilities and finance since Lori is not here?
Yeah, sure. Take care of the facilities report first. In attendance were myself, Lori Maris, the board member, Ardaman Singh, President Dr. John Ravalli, Mr. Brian Bonanno, Mr. Stephen Fried, Mr. Mark McNamara, Mr. Ryan Ellis, and Mr. Stephen McDormand. Updates. Zoo Fall project change order number 3 to be paid from the permit and testing allowance, the amount of $500. This is to replenish the sewer escrow account with Franklin Township Sewage Authority. Toilet room renovations and alterations at FMS Hamilton Street campus. Project change order number 3. This is a credit to the allowance in the amount of $750 as a result of the contract missing clean-out fittings and shock arresters installed in alternate locations. Toilet room renovations and alterations at the Hamilton Street campus project, change order number 4. This is a credit of $2,407.40 for an unused allowance money that was built into the original contract. Contract sum is decreased by this amount. Chiller replacement at FHS, change order number 2, to be paid from the general repair allowance in the amount of $2,482.07. This is to perform a pressure test for the existing underground piping to check for any leaks in the system. Shoot, 1 second. Zoo Fall project update. Mr. McNamara update the committee of the Zoo Fall project. The modular units were delivered on January 20th. Mr. McNamara gave the committee project updates about the chiller replacement project at FHS and Franklin Park School. Facilities use. The committee discussed the facilities use request that will appear on the board agenda tonight. Energy report. Mr. Ryan Ellis, who always gives a great energy report, presented the committee with the status of the Claremont solar system. The meeting adjourned at 6:55 p.m. And let me do the finance. Finance Committee met on Tuesday, January 21st at 6:02 p.m. In attendance, Lori Maris, myself, Nancy LaCour, President Ardaman Singh, Dr. John Ravalli, Mr. Brian Bonanno, and Mr. Stephen Fried. Financials and contracts. The committee reviewed the supplement bills list for the month of January. Committee reviewed the board secretary's report, treasurer's report, and the transfer report for the month of December. Charter school payments. The district paid $1,614,071 in tuition and $204,713 in transportation for the month of December. This brings the total charter school cost to $15,245,589 for the year-to-date, tuition year-to-date, $14,198,596, and transportation year-to-date, $1,046,993. Charter school payment adjustment, Mr. Fry discussed the revised payment schedules the district must pay to the charter schools each month for the balance of the school year. The monthly payment decreased by the net amount of $285,560. So that was great news. Fiscal year 24 financial audit, Mr. Stephen McDormand from the Supply Clooney and Company discussed the FH fiscal year 24 financial audit and their findings, which Stephen talked about tonight. And the last thing, use of emergency reserve. Mr. Fry discussed the use of the emergency reserve in the amount of $301,142 to pay to Thomas Edison Energy Smart Charter School for the monthly payment amount that they did not receive in January 2021. The district issued them a check payment for that month, but the charter school did not cash or lost the check, and the district must repay this amount even though it is now 4 years later. The DOE allowed the district to use emergency reserve monies to pay this amount instead of operating funds. The meeting ended at 6:25 p.m.
Thank you.
Yes.
Jimmy, can you do personnel, please?
The Personnel and Negotiations Committee met on the 15th of January at 6:01 p.m. remotely. The members of the committee present were myself as chair, Ms. Erica Inocencio, Mr. Walter Jackson, President Ardaman Singh, Dr. John Rivali, and Mr. Brian Bonanno. The Personnel Committee reviewed and discussed the following items. Item number 1, the personnel report from the 23rd of January. Number 7, appointments included preschool teacher and a speech and language specialist. Extracurricular stipend appointments, including additional sessions, hourly positions, Title III positions as well. Leave of absences, revisions, and transfers were also discussed. Number 2 was for the good of the order, and Dr. Rivali provided an update to the committee on several personnel issues.
Thank you. Bill, can you do policy?
So, policy met January 13th, myself, Nick, Erica, Dr. Rivali, Adaman, and Mary Clark. I have to say, Mary Clark creates a very interesting meeting. She's, you are good. And I didn't expect it to be as much fun as we had. First, we had to explain to Nick DeMeglio what his role is, so that took a long time. But he was the new kid on the block. The committee reviewed 2 interesting items. One was that graduating students, it's a new policy, and their families must either submit an application for financial aid, you know, that's the one we all filled out when our kids went to college, or submit a waiver form in order to receive a diploma. So if you didn't want to go for the financial aid, you still have to do the waiver form. And the students were notified by that requirement by their school counselors, who will be working with students to make sure they fulfill that requirement. Remember that form you fill out when you want to go for financial aid? If you don't want it, now you have to opt out. And then we reviewed a policy on student smoking. Remember that song, Smoking in the Boys' Room? Anyway, there's additional language that was required by the Uniform State Memorandum between the Board of Education and law officials, which speaks to school officials reporting to law enforcement the use or seizure of any electronic smoking device when the school official believes that the device may contain a controlled substance such as cannabis. So now we have to report to the police if an administrator thinks that there might be a drug involved in smoking. And we had discussed a few other random things, but it was a very interesting meeting. Thank you, Mary, for the detail that you provided.
Thank you. Erica, can you do safety and security, please?
Let me just open it. Hold on a second. I was having technical difficulties with my...
Make sure you put questions.
Yeah, I got it. Yes. Okay, so the Safety and Security Committee meeting, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. So Safety and Security Committee met virtually on Wednesday, January 15th at 7 p.m. The meeting was attended by myself as chair, Ms. Nancy LaCourte, Mr. Dennis Hopkins, Ms. Ardaman Singh, district staff present, Dr. Nicholas Solomon, and Dr. Valley. Items requiring BOE action, December suspension and HIB reports. The committee reviewed the December suspension and harassment, intimidation, and bullying reports. Dr. Solomon provided an update, noting that he had met with building principals to review the suspension data. He emphasized the importance of identifying patterns, including recurring offenders and commonalities among subgroups. Overall, the district is on track to see a reduction in both student suspensions and confirmed HIB cases compared to the same period last year. Key factors contributing to this improvement include restorative practices, ongoing implementation and staff training in restorative practices, which help resolve conflicts and reduce behavioral issues. PBIS framework, continued focus on teaching and reinforcing behavioral expectations across all schools. Proactive interventions, regular training for staff, including teachers, counselors, and safety officers, on conflict resolution and de-escalation strategies. 24/7 student support, enhanced access to social emotional resources for students in need. A comprehensive review of this data will be presented to the board and the public during the Period 1 Student Safety Data System presentation, typically scheduled for June. Items for review and discussion, updated restraint and seclusion form. Dr. Solomon presented the updated restraint and seclusion form, which has been shared with building principals and relevant staff in the special education department for implementation. HIB district update. Dr. Solomon provided a brief update on current HIB-related matters with a continued focus on reducing incidents and enhancing support mechanisms for students. District radio programming. Dr. Solomon discussed the upcoming plan to reprogram district radios, which will be integrated with the township's communication system to enhance safety and response times. And finally, Raptor system review. Dr. Solomon reviewed the Raptor system, the district tool for screening visitors and parents entering the school buildings. This system ensures enhanced security and streamlined visitor management. The meeting adjourned at 7:43 p.m.
Thank you. Dennis, do you have a report?
Yes, the Strategic Planning Committee met virtually Tuesday, January 21st, 2025. Those that was present was myself, Erica Incencio, Jimmy Parker, Alderman Singh, Dr. John Rivali, and Mary Clark. The meeting began at 7:20. New members, Erica and Jimmy was welcome, and the committee congratulated me for the appointment as chair of this committee. I was also recognized that I was the chairperson of this committee when the current strategic plan was first drafted and accepted by the Board of Education in 2023. The committee discussed the process in creating the current plan and reviewed the broad goal areas and the goal statements in the plan. The broad areas align with the areas of the Board of Education goals: health and safety, curriculum and instructions, personnel, green initiative, and community engagement. The committee members asked for further updates and specific goal statements and strategies in the plan. Administration will follow up with these requests and share them with the committee, who will share the updates with the full Board of Education and the public at a later date. That's all I have for the committee for that.
Thank you. Anyone has any liaison reports? Okay.
I met with Somerset County Ed Services Commission, vice president of their board. They continue to grow in services. They handle kids that have high needs, and Franklin participates with them. And I have the best interests of our district in mind when we meet, but it's really a very good resource that we have. Somerset County Educational Commission. I'm also on Hunterdon County Educational Commission, but that's a virtual meeting. But the one at the county, it's in person. They're good people. They're board members from all over the county.
Thank you, Bill. Anyone has questions about any of the committee or liaison reports? Nick? Walter? Nancy? Jimmy?
No questions.
Erica?
No questions. I do want to add that it was Dr. Solomon's first time heading the committee, and it was excellent, excellent job.
Bill, any questions?
Yeah, but I don't want to take up a lot of time. The only thing I was going to say during council comments, but I might as well say it now because it has to do with committees. There's a lot going on in this country, that's for sure, in the last few days. And also, the governor of New York and New Jersey have made quite a statement about cell phones. And there's a discussion that I would like the committees and superintendent to schedule. It would include policy, safety, and facilities, and how we can handle this requested mandate from the governor and from the governor of New York. So it's a lot of things are coming into the radar that we need to be aware of. On a national level, that's a whole nother conversation. So anyway, if we could follow up on that, that would be appreciated.
Thank you. Dennis?
Oh, no comment, no comment.
Okay, thank you. We are on to new business now.
All right, I would like to make a motion that we accept all monthly reports, M1 minutes of the board meetings, A1 travel-related expense reimbursement, A2 affirm harassment, intimidation, and bullying decisions, A3 Black History Month recognition, A4 School Board Recognition Month, A5 appointments, A6 Revised Restraint and Seclusion Plan, A7 SSDS Report Submissions, A8 Donations, A9 Revised Policy Second Reading and Adoption, A10 Revised Policy First Reading, A11 Facility Use, A12, how about this, Dental Hygiene Information and Treatment Application, how about that? A13 Special Education Settlement. Say again? Oh, okay. B1, warrants and payrolls. B2, financial reports. B3, contract approval. B4, change orders. B5, transfer from emergency reserve to general fund. B6, motion to accept the NJDOE expanded access to computer science grant. 8B7, accept and adoption of the annual comprehensive financial report and annual management report for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024. B8, approval of corrective action plans for the finance containing the auditor's management report for June 30th, 2024. C1, out-of-district students 2024-2025 school year. C2, field trip destinations. C3, field trip applications. C4, dual enrollment partnership. C5, new courses. C6, course name change. C7, application for best communities for music education. P1, personnel report number 7 dated January 23rd, 2025. And that completes the motion.
Thank you. So there is a motion on the agenda to move R1, M1, A1 through A12, B1 through B8, C1 to C7, and P1. Can I get a second?
Second.
Seconded by Nancy. Seconded by Nancy. Brian, can we do roll call, please?
Mr. DeMaglio?
Yes.
Mr. Grippo?
Accept.
Yes.
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 Yes. Thank you. So before we move on to comments from the public, I want to officially recognize Ms. Christina Cardoza as our new secondary supervisor for math, secondary school supervisor for math, grades 6 through 12. Where are you? Congratulations. Would you like to say a few words? Sure.
Evening, board members, Dr. Ravalli, Dr. Loughran, and community. I am honored to accept this position as secondary mathematics supervisor. A mathematics class is not just about numbers. It's about problem solving, critical thinking, and preparing our students for a future full of opportunities. As a longtime educator in this district, I've had the privilege of witnessing the dedication of our teachers and the potential of our students. My goal is to continue fostering collaboration among our staff and to ensure that our curriculum meets the needs of every learner in order to equip our students with the skills needed to succeed past their school years here. I'm so excited for this opportunity, and I look forward to making a meaningful impact. Thank you.
I think as the board president, I'll also take the prerogative. We've approved the personnel report, but I am sad to see that Mr. G is retiring. Why are you retiring? You're not a day old, so I'm really sad to see you retire, but I wish you luck, and I hope you enjoy your retirement life. And you know, you go back with great memories of Franklin and think of us. Would you like to say a few words? Come on. Well, Mr. G has been very valuable to the high school with Model UN and, a lot of our kids, and I'm proud to say both my kids, had him in the high school, so there's I have some people raising their hands saying our kids too, or probably they themselves had him, so, well, you don't look a day old to retire still. And now I would like to make a motion.
Madam President, before we do that, I just want to mention that Christina started at McAfee Road School. I hired her. And look at how she's bloomed. I mean, it's just amazing. But she was a phenomenal math teacher. First, she was a classroom teacher, I think, and then a math coach. And did a great job at McAfee, and then I retired, and she just went to higher places. But she's going to be a real contribution to the secondary schools. So it's good that the way we're moving people within. That's great. Congratulations, Christina. And I was going to say you owe me lunch, but then I'll get arrested. Never mind.
Yeah, that's an ethic violation, so you can't take lunch from her. You'll have to pay for your own lunch. You can go with lunch for her.
But you could buy her lunch, Bill, so.
You can buy her lunch, but you can't have her pay for your lunch.
Can't afford that on a pension.
I think we should respect everyone's time here, so I would like to have someone make a motion for comments from the public.
So moved.
5 minutes per speaker, any topic. Nancy made a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Jimmy. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, comments from the public is now open. Please state your name and address, and you can address the board.
Public service announcement first. There is a black or brown Volvo with the license plate L81. Your lights are on and the car is not running. There you go.
That's an important announcement. Please take care of that car.
Hi, how are you? Wendy Riga, 1 Markham Road, Somerset, New Jersey. I'm also president for President Council and co-president at the high school. And I just wanted to share our event on February 1st. Franklin High School and PTSO, in conjunction with Project Graduation, is hosting a designer bag bingo and basket raffle. Doors open at 4 o'clock. This supports Project Graduation. As you know, it takes a lot of money to host Project Graduation. So we are trying to raise money. It'll be our biggest fundraiser of the year. So I have some flyers here, shamelessly. If we would love to see everybody, please come. We're working so hard to make it successful. So thank you so much. And please, if you're interested, come. You can scan this, and please, we'll be happy to see you. Right, Nick? Nick will be working that night, so. Thank you.
Thank you. And if there are any school-connected events, you can please send them to Mary, and I will be happy to add them to my board president's report and share them out as well.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Muncies Anderson, AJ Court. I am the president over at Franklin Park Elementary and also the President's Council liaison. I'm going to be acting as the President's Council liaison today, since this topic is more related to the district as a whole. If there's a concern in regards to all school classroom doors being locked from the outside, I guess
Just hang on to the button while you put your hand.
All right. So, as I was saying, in regards to the security, this is more safety, but the school doors being locked from the outside, well, from the outside, for, I guess, security purposes. I'm told that that is a new policy or a required policy in the state of New Jersey from the education department. If it is there a way that you can share this policy so parents are aware of the change that is taking place, to have more of a transparent conversation with their children, because children are now coming home sharing with their parents that they do not have access to get to their class quickly. Some of the parents' concerns are, what if something does happen in the building and their child is running from the bathroom into their classroom and cannot access their classroom? What does that look like? So if this is the new policy, are we planning on updating the school doors to have automatic locks should there be a security concern where we have to shut, go into lockdown mode? So that's just another one of the things that I wanted to bring to the forefront. The other thing is in regards to, going back real quick, accessibility. For buildings, since we did our updates with all of the man traps for all of the schools now, are we looking into possibly making the front doors accessible for those that cannot access the door or pull the door? In example, those in wheelchairs. I am aware that at some schools there are some staff that are in wheelchairs, and as of right now there are members opening the doors for these particular staff. So are we going to be looking in the future at how we can make our buildings more accessible for those with disabilities? That is all my comments for this evening. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Christina Duncan, 8 Wexford Way. I'm here today to stand up for my daughter, Kayla Duncan, a victim of abuse. I'm here today to stand up for all the girls and women that are past victims of abuse. I'm here today to stand up to prevent the future abuse victims. I am here today so that we do not have to bury one of our daughters. It is in your hands, Franklin Township Board of Education, to save our girls, present, past, and future, and prevent a tragedy that is almost guaranteed with a serial abuser continuing to prey on young girls. It's sad that in 2025, Franklin Township has allowed a serial abuser to continue to thrive on our girls for over 6 years. On December 23rd, 2024, I have sent an email to understand why a medical emergency was never reported to a minor's parent. This is believed at the time was a simple request that has now totally changed my life and the life of my daughter, Kayla. I never expected a month later to be in the middle of a corruption ring. I never expected my life to be turned upside down. This has been emotional for all of us. It has also been an eye-opening experience that adults, parents, educators turn a blind eye while multiple reports are filed against the same coach for over 6 years. During this time, the coach is promoted. To this day, I still do not comprehend how this tragedy has occurred. I continue to speak with parents and hear the same stories over and over and over again. Conversations with Mr. Margolin, conversations with Dr. Solomon go on deaf ears. Dr. Ravalli is well aware of what is happening and chooses to turn a blind eye instead of saving and protecting our girls. The deeper I dig, the more corruption I find. There is no logical reason to protect a coach that belittles and demeans women. I have sent in multiple examples, including the scolding text message he sent me on September 28th of 2023. He not only berates his players, but his assistant coaches too. On 12/22/2023, Coach Lex texted the group chat, "I'm going to be 100 with you all. I basically just got off the phone with Brito trying to quit. He asked me to spend the weekend thinking about it, and he planned to talk to Daryl about all the things going on. I will not be at practice today or tomorrow. I love you all. You are the reason I've stayed this long, but my mental health is way more important right now as I'm trying to have a baby," end quote. Next text message. "He really is a narcissistic asshole and doesn't care about anyone but him. I told Brito he's on a power trip and that none of you are happy." These words come directly from an assistant coach that has been trying to be the buffer between the girls and Daryl's abusive behaviors. She is also a victim of abuse. According to Mr. Margolin, in his professional opinion, he does not see any abuse. You may want to reconsider educating Mr. Margolin. since the abuse has been reported to him multiple times by multiple victims, including me personally, in our meeting in October of 2023 and March of 2024. The major issue that I addressed both in October and March was how he demeaned women. During the game at Hillsborough, he referred to the referee as a C-U-N-T in front of the girls. Also in practice, he told the girls when they bend over, out of breath, that they look like they're twerking. This is clear as day as discrimination against women and sexual harassment. I am pleading with every parent here today, please stand with me and stand up for our girls that are continuing to be abused every day. Just this past Friday, Darryl forced another girl to the point of tears and not wanting to continue to play basketball. This needs to stop. You have the power to save our girls and remove this serial abuser. If you watch the game on December 22nd and 26th, you cannot deny what is happening. The whole team is affected. Parents are scared to say anything because of the retaliation that has and continues to occur. My daughter was forced off the team. Please stand up for Franklin Township girls. They do not deserve to be abused. Their rights should be equal or greater than a criminal. Please stop teaching our girls that abuse is expected and normal. We need to teach our girls to be strong, independent women that are not afraid of an abusive man. I beg you to help me achieve this for our girls. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay. Okay, holding it down. Kimberly Gray, 18 Nina Court, Somerset, New Jersey. And, wow, okay, so I just want to give a different perspective. I have 4 children that went to Franklin High School, graduated from Franklin High School. They all played various sports: cross country, track, swim, basketball, football. They all played AAU, 2 played in college. So I understand and know what it is, the hard work that it takes, the dedication that it takes. And I have had many different relationships with many different coaches. And I know that that can be difficult. And when you want your child to be successful, when you're hoping that they can play in college and even get a scholarship in college, as one of mine did, I understand the stress and the frustration. But to take it out on a young coach that is doing superb with the girls, who has taken a lot of time, he and his coaching staff, to plan for them, to create opportunities for them to play against challenging teams, to build a program for them, it just doesn't seem right. So I just want to give a little different perspective and let you know a little bit more about the background. The Duncans have worked with the current coach, FHH coach, for the past 5 years, starting back in 2020. The Duncans' child was a freshman at Union Catholic, but she expressed that she was frustrated with the head coach and felt that that she wasn't doing a good job to help her child and to help get her child recruited. She became frustrated over the child being removed from her AAU team, United, and that was the week before the Nationals live period. This same Franklin High School coach used his network and got her child tryout and a spot on the New Jersey Gym's AAU team for the same tournament, and she was given an opportunity to play at the Nike National Tournament the weekend before, which, if you're a basketball fan, knows that that's a big deal. Fast forward to 2023 AAU season, her child was now transferred into Franklin High School as a student. In the fall of 2023, the start of the season, everything was good. The child was starting playing good minutes, but the team record was not so good. The child shut herself down in the remainder of the season for injuries, since playing on the injury hurt, and it could cost her entire AAU season. After the child's month away, the team's record went to 11-2, and they made the playoffs. The child was cleared by the doctor to come back, but since she was still limping and had only been to 1 practice, she hadn't played in the game. Just this last week, according to Mrs. Duncan's social media, her child had surgery to rectify that injury that was noted in 2023, so she can get back to playing basketball, as she said. After the school season ended during the AAU season, the team, the Gems, did not ask the child to come back. And so the mom sent her back to the United team. What I want to point out is this is not the first and only time that Ms. Duncan's actions have left her child either quitting or leaving the team. So that should be noted. Whenever things get tough, she wants to blame the coach. United Catholic head coach, the gym head coach, your region director, Franklin High School head coach. Okay. So this season, it's on now. Okay, so this season, the child played intricate part of the first 7 games, and the season, as the season progressed, serving as a starting point guard and playing major minutes in the game, 25 to 32 minutes per game. And as the team record was 1-6, there were changes made by the coaches, as would any coach do in any sport, and then the complaints started coming. This led to analysis and changing things. This is when the mom filed the harassment and bullying claims against the coach and their staff. Even while this was going on, the coach still gave the child the college letters just 2 weeks ago. She's come before the Board of Education in the past to discuss the lack of playing time for her child, which is not the place to do that. I'm sure you would all agree. So then when that didn't work, she filed the HIB charges. While she has the right to defend her child and her position, this has been done in an unprofessional way. It's been malicious. This would be defamation of character. All the work that the coaches have put in, and this is the thanks they get. Why is she pushing this so hard? Why wouldn't she go through the proper channels, having conversations with the coaches and trying to work it out?
Excuse me, ma'am, your time is up.
Okay. Like I said, I've experienced coaches' relationships, and you can work it out a different way.
Thank you. You can come and finish up once everybody's gone through, and then you can come back again to finish the comments.
Hello. Oh. Okay. Thank you. Hello. My name is Karen Pecorella, and I live at 340 South Middlebush Road. I'm going to start by saying shame, shame, shame on all of you. 145 pages of documentation. 145. Mr. Benino, please do not look away. I called you directly. I've spoken with you regarding issues exactly with what Christina spoke about. Dr. Ravalli, same with you. All of you, shame, shame, shame on you. If you listen to me, the last 2 years, Kayla would not have to go through this. None of those kids would have had to go through this. None of them. It would have stopped with my girls. It would have stopped with me. Mr. Solomon, shame, shame, shame on you. You not only did what you did, you retaliated against me personally, backed Ken Margolin with suspending me for being assaulted and reporting the assault at a basketball game. I have every constitutional right to report to the police an assault that was made on me, and I should not have been suspended for it. Dr. Ravalli, same with you. Shame, shame on you for defending that, for not sticking up for a person getting assaulted, for children that cry out for adults to stick up and defend them. I am left speechless because this could have ended 2 years ago. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jamie Williams, 122 Sydney Place in Somerset. I'm actually new to the community. I'm here tonight. My daughter's on the basketball team also. And to hear some of the things that people are saying is crazy. I have children in college. When you play at the next level, you have to be pushed. Everybody who has children know they push their children. You push your children some kind of way. Cleaning your room, brushing your teeth, getting good grades, you're gonna push. Daryl is a young coach. Is he inexperienced? Yes, I'll give him that. He's inexperienced, but he's got time to grow. With the things that are being said about this young man who's attempting to grow, let's be real. Everybody, let's be real. If your child produces, your child will stay on the court. My daughter is a freshman who now starts varsity, so people may be upset about that. She's a point guard, she's a guard, and she's small. But Jamila gives 110% every time she touches that court. Does Daryl yell at her? Absolutely. Does Daryl scream at her? Absolutely. But guess what? So does her mother. Because when you lace those sneakers up, you are to represent me, you are to represent yourself. You love this craft, you work at this craft. She does play AAU. She plays a lot of basketball. I have a defensive player back there, Rowan University, Shippensburg University. I push all my children. I'm a single mom and I'm gonna push my children until the good Lord calls me home. Because that's what a parent does. I'm not gonna make excuses. Is somebody hard on my child? Yes, because this world is cruel. Very cruel. And they're gonna push everybody. When they go to college, you're gonna be pushed. Your college coach is not gonna take it easy on you. No way, shape, or form. And anything that comes easy in this world, you better question why. That's crazy to me that anybody would come up here. Daryl is trying. Does he drive us crazy? Absolutely. Can he watch his mouth? Absolutely. But as a parent, we all can watch our mouth. We all can make adjustments. But if you have a problem, this is not it. We all were going to come together and have a conversation with Daryl to get this problem resolved, but to do this, unacceptable. Unacceptable. And there's ways to go about this. And if somebody needed help on the team or if somebody felt this bad, we can talk about it. I do not feel that this right now is the right way to definitely disrespect Daryl, the program, and to bring back past people who were here. I wasn't in Franklin, but I heard the stories of how a legend was let go. A legend is not here. You are raising NBA players. Diamond Miller is in the NBA due to Audrey Taylor. Let's talk about it. That woman's name is biggest day on that wall in Franklin, and she's not here. Did anybody ask themselves why? Nobody. Nobody. That woman is great, and she was here for our children, but she's not here. So we had to take what we can get. I don't see nobody else coming up here to step in Daryl's shoes. So before you disrespect him, try being him. If it's a problem with your child, you need to address where the problem came from. It's not just on Daryl, it's on everybody. So before people get up here and start pointing the finger that Daryl is this and Daryl is that in the basketball program, look at your child. Look at your child. My child is getting minutes, but my child is gonna hear my mouth when she does wrong. That's my job as her mother. And I'm not gonna play on nobody's mental health, because before people start talking panic attack, anxiety, know what you're talking about. Because every kid will play on a mental. Oh, my mental, oh, I was upset, just because they wanna be lazy, because you wanna pass the buck. Stand on business. And if you wanna play on a college level, your child is going to be pushed unbearably. And when you get to college, you cannot have this meeting with a university. Because I would love to go to Rowan and speak for my child. I would love to go to Shippensburg and speak for my child, but that's a grown man. I cannot speak for him. So I had to raise him right. So everybody, you better grab hold of your kid and tell him how to speak to an adult, how to address somebody. Because to ever come up here and tell somebody shame, shame, shame on you, you is no one's mother up here. No one's mother. So for you to say that, unacceptable. Unacceptable. So before you come up here pointing fingers, ask, did my child give 110% every time they stepped on that court? Ask, what did my child do? Because everybody thinks their child is a saint? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. What did your child say to get her minutes taken? What did your child do? Ask those questions before you definitely come up here and point shame, shame, shame on any adult, because you're no one's mother. That's all I'm gonna say.
Thank you. Before the next speaker comes, I just want to make a statement. Anybody who comes to the podium, you're required to address to the board. We are your unpaid volunteers who will take everyone and listen to everyone. Please don't address each other because this is not a forum to have a conversation. This is a board meeting. Please address to the board. We'll take your abuse, but we won't say anything because it's a personnel matter, it's a child's matter, and we will not make a statement, but we're happy to hear.
Madam President, seeing no one else coming forward? Is there?
One more, Bill.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
You can sign it, and then I'll hold it for you. Do you want to?
Okay. Thank you so much. Good evening. My name is Toriano Duncan. I'm Kayla Duncan's father. At the end of the day, no matter how you chop it up, that man has no right to treat my daughter the way he did. No right. At the end of the day, as a father, for my daughter to say to me that she told him, no matter what I do, you make me feel like I'm worthless, like I'm not good enough. His response was, go back to Union Catholic. That was his response. When everything happened in the gym that day, my daughter told me no one was there to protect her. She was scared. I wasn't there to protect her. That's what she said. As a father, that is my goal in life, to protect my kids, especially my daughters. As I stand up here, this is about everybody's daughter. No matter how you look at it, we all know, yes, college coaches will push your kids. Absolutely. We understand that. But there's a difference of pushing your kids for greatness and pushing your kid to step away from the game that she loves. The way he talks to them girls, how he treats them girls is unacceptable. No matter how you look at it, whether that's your friend, your son's a coach over there, all that goes to the side. There's plenty of parents in here that know what Daryl says to them girls. And they might not want to say it, but at the end of the day, truth is the truth. Kayla was playing. This has nothing to do with minutes. This is about how he treated her in that gym. Nick Solomon showed me a video that he clipped on his own showing Kayla coming down the court crying, upset. I asked him, what happened? I didn't clip that part. Was he crying tears of joy for being there on the court? No. Obviously, something happened. Kayla said he forced her to do push-ups. He was up in her face, screaming, yelling, cursing at her. That is totally unacceptable. I get it. Being a coach is a tough job. Dealing with kids is a tough job. I'm a parent. I've been with my kids since day one. I'm a parent, so I know raising kids is tough. But at the end of the day, you don't treat them girls like that. These are young females trying to figure out life and who they are and what direction they're going. You're supposed to uplift them, protect them, educate them, and guide them. Not to humiliate them. And once again, like I said, this has nothing to do with playing time. And the people gonna talk, get your facts straight. Daryl didn't help her get to the gym. She had nothing to do with that. He can't even keep a job at Team Sharp. He got fired from there. He got fired from Miller because of his actions. So he had nothing to do with that. Kayla has a great relationship with the coach from Union Catholic. We could call her on two-way. There was no wrongdoing at Union Catholic. We left on our own to come here because he wanted to play here, because we live here, and we thought it was a great opportunity. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Anyone else before I can have Ms. Pecorella go again? Is there any new?
My name is Hakeem Stewart, 23 Alton Drive, Somerset, New Jersey. I'm not new to the community, but my kids grew up in Franklin. I have a...
Sir, can you please speak closer to the mic?
I'm kind of new to the community of Franklin. I grew up in Elizabeth, New Jersey. This is all new to me. But my daughter is a sophomore on the basketball team. Like I'm going to say, the way I grew up, urban city, Elizabeth, New Jersey, Pioneer Homes Projects. I'm a Division I athlete, former athlete. I understand about being pushed. I understand about being cursed out. I understand about the things that get you to the next level. What I'm gonna say is this. The young ladies that's involved in this, these young ladies be at my house, they're friends with my daughter, they're in my pool, and they're all great kids. My experience with Coach Robinson and my upbringing and my background, I'm gonna be honest with you. If I felt like Olivia Stewart, my daughter, was being physically abused, mentally abused, I'll be the one up here getting judged in a different way, but we'd be at Somerset Court. I'm a protector. It ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna let you know that right now. My daughter's still on the basketball team. I'm not sitting here to advocate for him. I'm gonna advocate for the welfare of my kid and all the girls on the team. The young lady that we're talking about, the parents is here, she's at my house all the time. If I witnessed anything happening with Coach Robinson and her, I will check him. Whoever know me know that's exactly who I am. But what I'm gonna say is this. Playing sports, it's a gift. It's a beautiful thing. You're gonna have bad days. You're gonna have good days. You're gonna be pushed. It's competitive. It's not about pointing fingers at what this person did, that person. I can't say because I wasn't there when a lot of people have allegations about what happened with the young ladies. But all I can say is I can vouch for my daughter, Olivia Stewart. Never came home and told me that she was abused by this man, because it would have been a different situation. I ain't coming in front of the board. I'm letting you know that right now. I'm gonna handle him as a man. All I can say is, like I said, I'm not advocating for him. I do like the way he coached, but I come from a different background. I like the way he hold the kids accountable. I do. And I think it builds strong character in kids. I think tough love is the best thing for kids. Now, mental abuse, some kids are stronger than others. Some kids, we all grew up in different households. Cursing in my household, normal. A coach screaming at me, normal. As long as it's with love. And I think that Darryl been training my daughter for years. He trained pretty much all our daughters. I'm pretty sure that. Outside of basketball before he got this job. I honestly didn't witness him do anything to hurt any of the kids. I think he's a young man. I have spoken to him about a couple of things that I didn't like. And I will tell you what I told him I like. I don't like social media, what he does. I told him, you can't put your feelings on social media. You're a role model, you can't do that. He said, I understand that. I said, as a middle-aged man, a young black man, you shouldn't do that, period, because the kids read into that and they lose respect for you. But do I think he has the best interest of the kids? Yes, he does. Because if he didn't, my daughter wouldn't be on the team. And I'll be sitting here and I'll be pushing for him to be removed anyway. But the young ladies that's involved in all this situation, I have love for them. Like I said, they're all at my house all the time. My house is the house where all the kids go. They're swimming in the summer, they're playing, they have sleepovers and things like that. And you know, it's a sad situation, honestly, that we're here dealing with this. Because I think this is a great town. I think everybody's doing a great job. I really don't, me personally, I don't have any complaints. I don't have any complaints with the school district. I don't have any complaints with the basketball team. I don't know. I just think just had a big turnaround with Audrey Teller, who we all pretty much could say was probably the best girls, top 5 basketball coaches in the state of New Jersey. And the Township lost we can't keep changing coaches. I come from a winning program. That's all we do in Elizabeth is win. I mean, if the kid's being abused, y'all address it. But my personal thing, my kid ain't being abused, because if she was being abused, I would handle that situation as a man first, and then I would deal with the consequences. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, sir. I just need you to put your name and your address down there. Thank you.
Hi. Just wanted to say that I played D1 in college. I might not look it. I did, though. I played D1. I know all about what it takes to get from one level to the next. And trust me, it's not easy. I know how to raise my children and how to raise them respectfully. I didn't disclose here anything that went on between my girls and the coaches. That's for the committee. They know that. But I will say that Darryl is not, for my girls, he did not treat them right. He did not treat me right. So take that for whatever you want. The committee has all the documentation, and it's a lot. So I don't want anyone here to imply it was anything to do with minutes, because it wasn't. It had everything to do with abuse and what was done to my kids and myself. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam President, since no one else is stepping to the mic, I make a, oh.
Okay. So I just wanted to, I did speak to everybody here at last meeting, but I'm just going to reiterate what has occurred in terms of timeline. I know everybody here got my 4.5-page letter of the documented abuse, and I understand every girl has an experience because some girls are raised differently. I raised my daughter to be what we call coachable today, and what I'm learning is coachable means vulnerable. And therefore, she's going to do whatever it takes to make that coach happy. Even when that coach confuses her and she doesn't know what to do, she blames herself and she internalizes it. If we all know psychology, we all know that there are people that are extroverts and introverts. My daughter's an introvert, so she takes everything in. There's many girls on the team that are extroverts. Also, we also know that there are many girls that quit the team. There is at least 6 that I'm aware of since Darryl has been hired. Due to this reason, I've spoken to parents, and it is due to the mental abuse. There's one student who quit the team last year. She had constant panic attacks. The panic attacks have stopped. Another senior, there are seniors that graduated too that won't even talk to the coaching staff, which tells you something. There are seniors that chose not to play last year because of all of the abuse from the coach and the way that he talks and demeans the girls. There's a difference between tough coaching. My daughters have tons of tough coaches, and that's great. I love a tough coach. There's a difference between a tough coach that's going to teach you something and raise you up versus someone who is going to continue to belittle you and make you feel like dirt. You say, oh, I have a question, and he talks to you like you're dumb. That's not acceptable. That's not coaching. That's abuse. And there is not a fine line. It's a very black and white line, and this is not coaching. If you look at the game on December 22nd, I encourage you to watch that game. Half the team was in tears. That's not coaching. You don't tell the girls, pass the ball 20 times before you shoot. If you shoot the ball, you're benched. What kind of coaching is that? I've never seen that before. Not on college, not in high school. You don't do that. That's control. Abuse is about power. Abuse is about control. He wants to control the girls because he is a serial abuser. And that's what we're hiding behind. This goes back to middle school. There's girls that didn't play in high school because the seniors and juniors, there's people that transferred out of district that I spoke to, that signed my petition that I sent to you. They're now playing in college successfully, but they left Franklin Township because of the abuse. So I encourage you to just research it. Talk to people. There are people in this room. They may not speak up. There are people watching. There are many private messages I received, text messages I received. Everybody's scared of retaliation because that's what happens in this district all the time. It's corruption and retaliation. So at this point, research it. Have somebody look into it. My HIB has been denied even though I have proof of everything. And I have watched a video of my daughter being screamed at 3 different times, and that's just the part that wasn't cut. My daughter's at the point she won't even look at the coaching staff. She looks through them. She can't even handle it that she won't even acknowledge their existence anymore. That is a sign of an abused person. And also for the record, have we changed AAU teams? So has half the girls out there, maybe 3/4 of the girls. I don't know any girl that sits here and stays with an AAU team forever. We have never had a run-in with a coach. This is the first time ever. He tried to accuse us. He actually ruined the relationship for a little bit with a Union Catholic coach, because what he did, he decided to post on social media because he recruited my daughter, and then on top of that, he posted it before we even transferred. And then she saw it and confronted me. So yeah, that kind of spoiled the relationship a little bit, but that had nothing to do with me. That had to do with Darryl. So at the end of the day, this is not about playing time, because as you guys know in the documentation I sent, this didn't start, her playing time didn't get cut until after I filed the HIB, the day after. That's when her playing time got cut. She didn't want to tell me about the panic attack because she was scared of retaliation, which is exactly what happened. That's why she didn't tell us. We found out from another parent because the parents were upset on December 23rd from the game that happened on December 22nd. That's how we found out about the panic attack, because they were worried about her. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll let you. At the end, you can put your name. Right, if you're under 15, you don't have to say. I'm not under 18. As long as you don't touch the button, you should be okay. Hi, my name is Danya Dunbar. I live at 13 Tennell Road. So I've coached about 75% of these girls on the basketball team. I have very close relationships with them. I worked for the Franklin Township Recreation Department with my mother for over 10 years or so. So I've known these girls since they were in 3rd grade. I know what they can do. I know their potential. I personally know Kayla Duncan. I coached her since she was in 3rd grade. She is now an 11th grader. And at no point should any coach make somebody want to quit basketball that loves it. Last year when Darryl started coaching, I actually had multiple conversations with the girls that I used to coach. And they were very confused and with his communication, and I took it upon myself to kind of explain certain things for them, to break it down, because he's a new coach. He's maturing into his role. I'm going to help out because I know these girls. But at the end of the day, when somebody's having a panic attack and then you consistently berate them while they're having the panic attack, and it takes another coach to pull them aside and say, stop, let me take her to the bathroom, and you still continuously are talking and yelling at them while they're in a medical emergency, that's not okay. And she's not the only one. As Christina said, this happened just recently. Another girl whose mother's in this room right now had a panic attack. She might not be aware of the fact that her daughter wanted to quit basketball a couple days ago because she was being berated by the coach, but that happened. And who talked to her? Christina's daughter, Kayla Duncan, to help her not quit the game because she knew that she didn't want anybody else to go through what she's been going through. So what the parents are doing, and a lot of parents are here that I actually coach their daughters in. What they're trying to do is be supportive, but they also do not want to tear down a black man. So I get it. I get it in regards to the fact that he's a new coach. He has some growing to do, but at the same time, you cannot support somebody that is berating young women and shaping them to be into the world, to be adults in the world. If they're going to go to college, great. I worked under Dawn Staley at Temple University, so I know what a good coach is. This is not it. You need to be able to talk to your players. Each coach, you should be able to identify how to address each player. That's what a coach's job is. It's a hard job. You need to be able to get the best out of each player. And if you see that one person, a player, is an introvert and yelling at them is making them cry, maybe you should try a different way of coaching, a different way of addressing that player. Not everybody's going to be able to receive the information that you're providing in a constructive way if you're yelling at them in their face. My son, who doesn't go to Franklin Township schools, but he's one of those kids that you cannot yell at, he's going to shut down. So as a coach, as a good coach, you need to be able to identify that with the players that you're coaching. I think you guys need to really look at the fact that there's been multiple complaints addressed about this coach, and really, if you're not going to remove him, at least have a sit down with him to explain to him or support him in a way where he can do a better job than what he's doing right now, because it's not okay. It's not working. Look at the girls' record. It's not working. They have all the potential in the world. It's not working. Something needs to change, and it's on everybody in this room, including parents, to help him with that change if you're not going to remove him. Everybody needs to come together and start. There needs to be a change because this is not working right now. And I wasn't supposed to speak, but I had to say something. So if you're here to support, I encourage you to speak up because your voice matters. Everybody's voices matter. And I appreciate everybody's truth because everybody has a different truth, but I encourage everybody to speak up and tell your own truth. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, seeing no one else, this is your last chance. I move to close the public session.
Motion to close by Bill. Can I get a second? Seconded by Dennis. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, public comment is now closed. I'll make one response again to the PTSOs. We will, if you need flyers, encourage the parents to take the flyers, and as I mentioned, please share any school-connected organization events with Mary, and she can forward them to my board president's reports in the futures, and I would be happy to share those out with the community at the board meetings. So, and encourage all the other board members to attend as many school-connected events as you can, as your time permits. You know, that's how our school-connected organizations get funds together for the events, and it's for our children. So share it wide and attend as many events as you can. So Dr. Ravali will address the policy question.
Was it Mrs. Anderson? Where did she? Mrs. Anderson, that is not an NJDOE policy. Actually, that was a recommendation we had made through our security office, and that was based on the Appalachia High School shooting in Georgia. I'm not so certain if you recognize what happened there, but that child went to the bathroom. Algebra 1 student went to the bathroom, retrieved a gun, came back. That door was locked, the classroom he came back to, knocked on the door, student saw the gun, wouldn't allow the child in, but the classroom next door, the door was open, and that's the classroom that lost the lives. So we had shared shortly after that in September, actually, when Mr. Wilson was still here, we visited with all of our principals, and one of the things the fire marshals also want is classroom doors shut. And I know that's difficult sometimes for teachers because they like to have their doors open, but the whole intention of doors shut in a school and how schools are built, the walls go all the way up to the deck, the ceiling, so that God forbid a fire breaks out in one classroom, it's contained in that classroom, and the corridors stay open so that students can get out of the building. But anyway, that's why classroom doors are supposed to be shut, and that really was a recommendation that we made to the principals based on what we learned in the Appalachia High School Georgia shooting. And not only us, but a lot of other school districts made that same recommendation. But it's not an NJ Department of Education policy.
Thank you. And as I mentioned during public comment, we will not be making any comments on the children and the HIB issue because it's a personnel matter and it's, something that we cannot address. And with that, we'll move on to good of the order. Nick, would you like to say anything?
First one tonight, huh? So first of all, I want to thank Dr. Ravalli and Dennis and Lori for my orientation last week. I learned a lot. Very nice. I appreciate lunch. Very good. Lou, I want to thank you very much for all the years of help that you gave me at the high school. Enjoy your retirement. Christine, I don't know how Mr. Grippo remembered your name because he has a habit of forgetting the staff's names, but congratulations. And I want to thank and applaud. I moved up to the Board of Ed and I left all my committees behind. So Wendy took over President's Council. Monteith is a liaison. Maxine is running the concessions for Project Graduation. I left and they've made a complete change and they're doing wonders with the committees that I left behind. So I'm very proud of you and thank you very much for keeping those up and going. And also I wanted to thank Sammy Shaban for his years on the board and encouraging me to run. I actually wanted to do it several years before, but I waited till my kids graduated from school before I decided to run for the board, and Sammy was very instrumental in supporting that. And then just January 24th, there's a dance showcase at the Hamilton Street campus, and then on February 8th, Project Graduation is having their clothing drive. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So you mentored your teams well, and they've taken over, onwards and upwards.
First off, I would like to thank you, Lou, for your service and your years of help for the children. I'm sure you won't be forgotten, at least from what I hear. Christine, congratulations again. You'll be a tremendous asset. Mr. Plummer and Mr. Miller, thank you so much for all of your efforts and all of your work. I will second what President said about the supporting the schools and their arts. Last night I was at Franklin Middle School at their band winter concert. They had a wind ensemble, a jazz band, and a 6th, 7th, and 8th grade band. They all did a tremendous job. So if you have an opportunity to go out and support the arts, please do.
Thank you. I'll move back here. Walter.
I don't have one tonight, actually. Lou, it's been a pleasure. I've worked with you on a few negotiations that we've had. So best of luck to you on your retirement. Mr. Miller, Mr. Plummer, congratulations. Continue to do the great work that you guys are doing. Christine, congratulations. I know you're excited about this position, and we're excited to have you. And my last thing I just want to mention, just my thoughts and prayers for Antioch School in Nashville. Apparently there was a school shooting yesterday, so it's just January and we're still at it again. So my thoughts and prayers to those families and friends and those kids who are once again dealing with something that we continue to deal with in this world. So my thoughts and prayers are to all those in Nashville. And that's it for me tonight.
Thank you. Erica?
Yes, a lot has already been said, so congratulations to the honorees tonight, and congratulations to Christina. We're very proud of you. And I also want to thank Kalia Wallace. She is the coach of the Franklin High School dance team and competition dance team. They've done a great job. They're raising money for the competitions that they have that they'll be attending this year. And one of the things that they did to raise money was open up to Franklin students, elementary and middle school students, to participate in Franklin Junior dance team. So they are offering classes. They do it in a couple of week bunches, and my girls have participated and had a blast doing it. They got to, it's their claim to fame at this point, they got to perform with the Franklin High School competition dance team during halftime at the boys basketball game, and it was a very big deal to these young kids, and I just want to point out what they're doing. The dance team is doing a great job, and hopefully we can all support them in their efforts. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Nancy?
Well, since Walter doesn't have a quote, I had to quickly look for a quote, and mine is on gratitude. So this is basically to you, Lou, for like your gazillion years of service, and to you, Darren, for all that you've done, and to Justin for all that he's done, and Dan, your love of Bruce. So as we express our gratitude, we must never forget the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. And that's by JFK. So other than that, I'm going to piggyback on what you've been saying, probably what y'all have been saying, so I'm making it brief. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to Bill.
I think Nick's going to be a talker, so you better watch out. You thought you had a problem with me. You didn't shut up. Jeez. Anyway, Dan, if you could send me an email with Princess's information. I'm on the board of directors of the MLK Foundation, and I think she'd be a great asset for next year's breakfast. This year's breakfast was fantastic. I encourage all the administrators, all the Board of Education members to attend the breakfast. It's a day off. You should be there. This is the one singular event in Franklin Township that speaks directly to the message of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And you need to be there. You need to put it on your calendar and be there. Many of you were there that I'm looking at. It was fantastic. Many of our teachers and our students participate. Just reflecting for a moment, I've had 5 kids go through these schools from K to 12. They're all super successful. All I could say is nothing changes, but everything changes. Everything I heard tonight, nothing changes, but everything changes. It's how you come out of it as a human being. Respecting one another, lifting up one another is the message. We have to be very careful. And now, you know, now that I'm the senior member of the board, and I will be talking a lot this year until I retire. So the board better get used to it. But it'll be peaceful. and I'll let you know what I think. We're going to have a good year. The board works well together. But there are issues that we're going to have to confront because we cannot duck what's going on the national level. That's it.
Okay, Dennis.
Mr. G, Christina, like you said, I'm not going to say congratulations on your retirement because you still have some time to go. So keep doing what you're doing. Christina, congratulations on your promotion. You'll be a fine tool for the students to use. So congratulations. It seems like every other month, Darren, we saying, patting you on the back. So you just keep, you and Justin just continue that role of having those students look up to you. And other than that, Bill rightfully stated with MLK and his dream and the dream that is instilled in here in the United States. And the next time we meet, we will be in the midst of Black History Month. So embrace and go out and go to those events that you can make, but have a good rest of the month.
Thank you. So I wanted to be brief, but I guess I need to add a little extra to my comments tonight. Our board was recognized as a certified board in 2023, and I know we have some new board members and some board members who are working towards, getting some credits through the New Jersey school boards, which is a great accomplishment. And County School Board Association meetings and New Jersey School Board Association meetings are the only way that we get professional development credits. And Bill had mentioned at Martin Luther King breakfast that Ava Nash, who passed away, had become a certified board member, or master board member, or certified board leader. We have our very own Nancy, who has all those 3 credentials here, sitting on the board. And round of applause, of course. And yours truly self has 2 of those 3 certifications as well. And I think we should all, get some of those webinar series, because all of those things don't have to be in person. We can attend them virtually as well, and maybe try and strive to become a certified board again in 2024. And I know with Nick, you coming on the board, you'll have some mandatory trainings, and Dennis and Jimmy and Erica, the 3 R's: roles, resources, responsibilities, mastering school finance, policy development, annual goal setting for the district, the board's appraisal responsibilities, role in the annual budget. These are all webinars available on the website. So whenever you're like eating lunch, just turn it on and listen to it, and you'll get a credit for just listening to that. So that's my take, about that. And I want to end with something on a positive note. At Dr. Martin Luther King's breakfast, we have a booklet that is printed, and they asked the board president to put a message in. And they asked me to write a message in, and usually I get Mary's help to help me write that message in. And I was surprised. I wrote something in, and Mary said, there are no changes need to be made. You did a good job. So I don't know if this message would go out to the community. So I wanted to say it out so that it gets recorded, and maybe some people will hear it. So it's 2 short paragraphs. I wanted to end tonight with that. The message said, and we're going into Black History Month, as Dennis said, and I think this message is very timely. We come together as a community to honor the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a leader whose vision of justice, equality, and unity continues to inspire us. His powerful message reminds us that change does not roll in on the wheels of inevitability, but comes through continuous struggle. This year's theme is Change Continues with Us. Reflects a profound truth: the journey towards justice and equity is ongoing. Dr. King called each of us to be active participants in shaping a better, more compassionate world. As we reflect on his legacy, let us remember that progress is built through collective action, courage, and an unwavering commitment to fairness for all. In our schools, we strive to create an environment where every student feels valued, heard, and empowered. Dr. King's dream challenges us to continue fostering inclusivity, respect, and kindness in every classroom and hallway. I encourage each one of you, students, staff, families, and community members, to honor his memory, not just today, but every day through acts of service, empathy, and leadership. Let us recommit ourselves to being agents of positive change. Together we can ensure that Dr. King's vision of a just and equitable society continues to guide our steps. Thank you for being part of our shared commitment to learning, growth, and justice. With this, our meeting's adjourned.